Hi everybody, Miss Rachel from Farmingdale Public Library here, and today I'm going to show you how to draw Pikachu from Pokemon. So, for this activity, you will need some color pencils or crayons or markers to color with, some white paper like I have here on my easel, you'll need a pencil, and you'll need an eraser. Or if you have an eraser on the tip of your pencil, that's fine. Today I am using a kneaded eraser. So the first thing that we need to think about in a picture of Pikachu here is how tall is Pikachu? So I like to use his head as a unit of measurement. Pikachu is about 2 heads tall, plus his feet a little bit past the second head. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by drawing very lightly some guidelines, and then we'll be erasing them later on. We're going to start by drawing one light circle for Pikachu's head. Oopsies. And then we're going to draw another circle that's the same size for his body. Now Pikachu's body is kind of oblong, but to get started with, we're going to just start with 2 very light circles. Kind of like we're making a snowman. Okay, so we've got 1, 2. From there, we are going to add a little bit more definition to them. So I like to make a letter T that kind of goes down the middle of it, and the vertical line goes down the middle of the body, and then the cross section halfway through your top circle. So this is going to be where Pikachu's eyes are. Okay. So now that we know where his eyes are, we can start tucking in the head a little bit from the top and making those cheeks bulge out a little more. So Pikachu's head is not quite a perfect circle on the top, it's a little bit flat, and then his cheeks stick out a little bit further. So I'm just kind of rounding out my shape and making those cheeks bulge. Okay, from there, that center line is going to be where the eyes are. So as you could see, the eyes in Pikachu are just above where the bulge in the cheeks are. Okay, so I'm going to draw in 2 circles to start with for the eyes. Now I'm going to do this very lightly so that this way I can come back and finish the details later on. And then I'm going to do my 2 bigger circles for the cheeks, just so I get started and I know about where they are. So depending upon how turned Pikachu's head you've made, you can either have the circle for the red cheeks going off of the side of Pikachu's face, or you can leave them totally on if he's looking straight at you. In my case today, I'm going to do it where he's just looking right at me. Okay. And then just below where that crease in Pikachu's cheeks are is going to be our nose. So the nose should be parallel to the top of Pikachu's cheeks, and it's an upside down triangle. Okay, so there's what we have so far. And now we're going to do a little line for where the mouth should be. Now, Pikachu's mouth is kind of like a mouse mouth or a kitten mouth. So what we're going to do is kind of like 2 stretched out V's or really stretched out W. So where we put that little guideline, we're going to stretch it out and then go up at the edges. Okay, there we go so far. So at least now we have a basic outline of where his face is going to be. Let's adjust the body a little bit. Now the body, this is where we're going to use our erasers. I'm going to erase some of this circle as I'm going along. And I'm going to smooth it down so that Pikachu's head and body are almost the same width. And they come around into a bubble shape. And at the bottom of that bubble, I'm going to do 2 ovals to start with for his feet. Okay. And then erase some of my extra lines. And let's fill in those feet. So Pikachu's feet are a little bit on the narrow side. So I'm going to re-sculpt my feet a little bit smaller. Now don't be afraid to erase with this because if you decide to outline and color it in, you will be erasing your pencil lines anyway. Okay, so here's what we have so far. And now we're gonna take our pencils and we're gonna fill in that body shape a little bit more. So he kind of almost has like a penguin body, where it's almost all one piece. There isn't really too much of a neck for Pikachu compared to the rest of his body. And then on here, what I like to do is use the curve of that circle we drew before to fill it in and suggest where Pikachu's paws are going to be. So I like to bring from my circle, I like to bring that line around and give him some arms. And then Pikachu's fingers are not quite paws and not quite claws. They're kind of like a little zigzag at the end. So I'm going to just go over that again, a little darker to make my zigzag. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm going to erase some of this extra on the side so that my Pikachu isn't too round and isn't too pudgy. Okay. Pikachu does have a little bit of an angle. His feet kind of nip in at the base. So what we're going to do is at the bottom of our circle here, we're going to turn this into an upside down U. So I'm going to go over this like that, make an upside down U. And then we're going to erase the bottom of the circle. Next we're going to take that side of the circle we erased before and do a quick zigzag up for one side of Pikachu's tail. 1, 2, 3. So Pikachu's tail has 3 zags in it, and then we're going to do the same thing running parallel. So 1, 2, and Pikachu's tail, unlike most cats or dogs, his tail is widest at the base. At the edge of it, rather, not the base. Okay, so there's our tail, and then we're going to, of course, color the darkened bottom. Color the bottom darker, but for right now, I'm just going to do that with a pencil. You could do this with your colored pencils or crayons afterwards. And last, what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the ears, which are 2 ovals that are pointed on one end. Now his ears, if we take a look at our picture here, the ears are about the same length as the head. So, I want my ears to be, well, I mean a little bit too short, so I'm going to make my ears a little bit bigger. And they're not as wide as you think they are. His ears are actually narrower where they start at his head and then get a little bit wider and then get narrow again towards the edge. So I'm going to, so again, they should be the same height. And then wider and then narrower. And then we're going to draw on our little lines for where the ears should be a darker color. And I'll just fill those in quick with my pencil. And then I'm going to erase part of where I had Pikachu's head before. That was too big and too round. Okay. And then the next thing is we're going to fill in those eyes. So Pikachu's eyes are mostly black, but they have a little circle of white in the middle. So I'm going to just draw it in a circle inside of my circle and then fill them in. Okay, and now take your eraser, clean up those lines. Don't want Pikachu's head to be too round on the top. And when you are satisfied with how you have your lines for your basic outline, you can start using your color pencils to color them in. So I hope you had a good time making Pikachu with me, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in some of our other programs. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.